Welcome everyone. We'd like to call this meeting of the Hayden Urban Renewal Agency to order. Can we please have a roll call of the board members?
Rhonda Mitchell, Steve Meyer, Colin Meehan,
Here.
Randy McIntyre,
Here.
Michael Thayer,
Say here, Michael.
Michael Thayer,
I can't hear anything. It's just cutting out completely.
Okay, just a sec.
Why would they not be able to hear?
that was a different audio pin that I've used before.
Really? Okay.
It does seem like more feedback than we've had in the past, just static coming through.
Yeah, you sound better now. It was, earlier it was just cutting out a lot.
Do you have one of the microphones over by you, Lindsay?
One of these.
Oh. Well, I don't know if that's the same as these.
Oh, okay.
Like this whole desk is
This mic.
so I don't know
If that matters.
Speak to the microphone.
It went out for a second there. It's back on.
Okay. Michael, how's that sound? Not great?
Yeah, it's still cutting out a little bit. I can kind of hear though.
it's coming through.
Can you call in and use a phone?
We are on the phone.
Yeah, I can use my phone if it's going to be easier.
It's feeding out of that. I don't know what it is.
Should I move up there?
Sure, I'll just call in. Here.
That might
Oh,
not.
see that.
That's a lot better right there.
Yeah, that his feed was feeding through. I think.
Oh, okay. You think it was Michael's that was causing the issue?
Causing-
Yeah.
Okay. Pete, is that you on?
Yeah, it's clear as a bell now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, it
sounds
must have
a lot
been
better.
Michael. Okay, so Michael's on. He'll just reconnect a different way.
For just a second.
I don't think we need to. We saw him. When we talked to him. I don't think Rhonda's on, huh? She's kind of like on the move too.
Okay, moving on to
So-
Matt Roeder,
Here.
Joy Richards.
Here.
Matt, would you please lead us in the pledge?
I'd love to. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Looking at today's agenda, do we have any additions or corrections? Do you have anything to add?
Nothing
Okay.
that I know of.
Are there any conflicts to report with today's agenda?
The only question I have is, it shows that we have bills as part of the packet, and I don't have them.
So there's a list. There's a list that looks like this.
Oh, let me see.
And it's not your normal financial packet because the cities had some staffing changes in accounting, and it's been a little bit of a struggle. So we're gonna, over the next month, get things figured out, and you guys will have a packet again next month, but it just.
This is our bills, this is our projected expenditures.
Yeah, I'll have to look.
So I don't have the bills, is that correct?
They should have printed the same, you don't have a spreadsheet that looks like this?
We have our
Seven,
projected
it has
expenditures.
7.
Okay, yeah, okay, I got it.
That's,
Yeah,
that's
it,
the
it.
bills.
Okay.
So in the absence of having the normal packet that we normally have,
Right.
I talked to Pete, and this was kind of the minimum that we needed to do to be able to pay bills. And I believe that the staff is printing the checks right now. So that's the best I could do for today.
Okay. Yeah, I know normally we have bank statements and all those, but
I know.
I understand.
Yep.
I understand what's going on.
Yep.
As far as conflicts go, I see in the packet, there's 2 potential action items, one with Bernardo Wills. We're currently under contract with them, Vertices, for 2 different contracts. So they're a subconsultant to us on that one. The other one is Peck and Peck. They are not actively a subcontractor for us right now, but they have been in the last 2 months.
Okay.
And most likely will be in the near future. So, Pete, is that something to be concerned with?
Yeah, Colin, I would just recommend that you recuse yourself from voting on both matters and participating in the discussion.
Okay. Do we still meet? We would still meet quorum in that case?
Yeah.
Okay.
If,
Michael's here.
Oh,
if
yeah,
Michael
Mike's on.
gets back on, then we'll have a quorum.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on the phone.
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
I don't have anything current with Bernardo Wills right now.
Okay.
I think I've worked with him before.
Okay, so
Call for,
I'll make the motion that we approve the consent calendar as stated.
just a moment,
We're
because
not
we
right
do
there.
have somebody from the public
We have
that
to do
I
visit-
wonder if we need public comment.
Oh,
visitor or public comments? I wish to
No.
make any comments
Okay.
today.
I'm
Okay,
here.
now we're back to the consent calendar.
okay, I'll make that motion that we approve the consent calendar as stated.
I'll second that.
Okay. In a second, let's move on to new business. We have a notice of award for Owl
Do we have to-
Cafe.
Wait, we have to do a roll call.
Oh, we have to do a roll call vote. Yep.
Colin Meehan,
Yes.
Randy McIntyre,
Yes.
Michael Thayer,
Yes.
Matt Roder,
Yes,
Joy Richards,
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now we can move to new business. And the first item of new business is a notice of award for Owl Cafe demolition. In here we have a packet with the different bids from all, looks like all local, very local contractors. And the apparent low bidder is Peck and Peck
Right.
Construction.
Yep, so what the action would be is to award the contract to Peck and Peck and sign this notice of award. And then we will get the contracts over to Peck and Peck for signature and get their bonds, get their performance bond. And so I think the action would be to sue Randy to sign the contract once it comes back with all the insurance and bonds and everything that we need.
Yeah, so the motion would be to select Peck and Peck's bid, execute the notice of award, and sign the contract.
Can I
Yep.
make the motion?
I don't know, you're acting as chair today, maybe somebody else should make the motion.
May I make the motion to accept the bid? And what did you say, Pete? What was the other part of that?
Execute the notice of award and sign the contract.
Okay, execute the award and then sign the contract.
I'll second that.
Yes.
Okay, roll call.
As a discussion item, if I can ask, I know that there was an issue of asbestos in the building. Does this contract completely take care of it, or is there a subcontractor that has to do the asbestos abatement?
I don't know if they're using a subcontractor or if they are doing it themselves, but they are aware that there's procedures in place for them to do that. It's not required that they hire somebody else. Some people would hire someone.
Okay, the question
But-
is, are they responsible for the
Yes.
removal? Oh, that's all I have.
Yep.
Thank you.
Can I have a roll call vote?
Colin Meehan, Randy McIntyre,
Yes.
Michael Thayer,
Yes.
Matt Roder,
Yes,
Joy Richards,
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Thank you. Item number 2 on the new business is a recommendation of selection of planning consultant for Civic Center area, basically the Owl Cafe real estate and the real estate behind the Owl Cafe, so.
Yeah, so I can give a little background here. We put a request for proposals out. We advertised it in the paper, and we ended up getting 2 proposals, one from Bernardo Wills Architects and one from Architects West. Rhonda, Randy, and Michael they reviewed and ranked or scored the proposals, and surprisingly, they came up with the exact same score, 81. But 2, if you kind of look at reviewer 1, 2, and 3, 2 of the reviewers, if you score them separately, had BWA ahead of Architects West. So that's how the selection was made. So the selection committee was recommending moving forward with Bernardo Wills. So the next step would be to have me get with Bernardo Wills to develop a scope and fee, and then bring that contract back to the board for approval in February. Any discussion?
Just a question, if I may. The idea of doing a civic center, is it just focused on doing a civic center possible design, or are there other elements, or is it purely focused on the civic center is my question?
Well, we had a workshop in October, HURA, and it was decided that you really didn't want to focus too much on commercial and certainly not housing on that property, and so it's uses that would be compatible with City Hall was my understanding, and that's how I wrote the request for proposals. So it could be other uses that are compatible with the park and stuff like that, but I thought out of that workshop came the thought that it would mostly be civic type use.
Okay, not a civic center, but a
Not necessarily.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So there's a broader definition of what it could be.
Yeah, a civic campus is what we, like, whatever that might be.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I know with a project like what this could be, it would be important to get the cities, we would be in unison, because we're talking a lot of money to do whatever we're gonna do. And I know that we have to start a process of possible design, but I'm just wondering what we're thinking at this point, because I've been out of it a little bit lately here, so.
Looking at the proposal, both of the consultants that were looking at this project both had a campus. They were looking at drawing up a campus of sorts with parking and buildings and landscaping.
So a city campus
Correct.
would maybe be a better, for me to understand it, rather than civic campus, but.
Well, it might not necessarily be city. All of it might not be city, though. If there was a community center or senior center aspect or something like that. So that's what we just said, that just broadly civic was just kind of like a broader term to kind of be an umbrella over anything like that.
So to propose or give the designer of this, the consultant, a scope, do we have enough input? Do we have enough input to give him to define that scope at this point?
Yeah, right now I think we do, but we're gonna have workshops with HURA and with some city staff.
So that'll be developed.
That's gonna be, so they're not gonna go deliver us a plan that in a vacuum. They're not gonna do that. I think we have scoped like 3 different workshops with our group and with Lisa and Alan and Rob and Susie, and just and it's high level. It's not a detailed design. It's what are the needs, what could fit, and what could be compatible with what the city has going on, and that just because we've had so many discussions on this or that, and it's just hard to even know what's feasible, so.
Are you aware that our public works or street department is in the process of moving to
Yep.
the county? And now we will have that to include into, I'm assuming that's gonna be part of what.
Yep, it is. I think I even described that in the RFP, that, you know, you can't, what we had decided is you can't look at just the HURA owned properties and not look at the city properties right here. And Lisa and the mayor are aware that we're tying it all in. So it's not, we're not doing it without their knowledge either.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, just to kind of get a feel for
Now,
what.
I just get caught up on all that. That's
Yeah.
That's what and also there was initially a campus design that Brett Boyer had
Yep.
tucked away. Will that be given to this consultant?
It already was it was all a part of the
Perfect.
request
Okay.
for proposal,
I'm just
so.
trying to bring information I know of.
We
forward.
handed like
You're good.
everything we knew
You're good.
out to them so that they would know
Yeah.
what we had in mind.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Okay, so I think if you're comfortable moving forward with Bernardo Wills, it would be a motion to select them and then allow me to work with them on a scope and fee and bring the contract back in February.
Is it a recommendation or a selection that the motion would be?
The motion would be the selection. So the item is the recommendation from the selection committee.
Got it. I'll make that motion then, if we're ready, that we take the recommendation from the selection committee and approve the selection of Bernardo Wills, architect, as our consultant for Civic City Center. I'll put it that way. Just a-
Sounds good.
I'll second that.
All right. A motion and a second. We have a, do we need a roll call, please? Probably.
Randy McIntyre,
Yes.
Roll call.
Michael Thayer,
Yes.
Matt Roder,
Yes.
Joy Richards,
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next thing, hopefully this made sense. So the city is working through the process to expand the HURA district, if you remember, that we requested, that HURA requested of them. So the next part is the economic feasibility of the plan amendment. And they had asked us to weigh in on the project list. Now, the way this has been described to me by Olivia Metz, who's doing this part of it for the city, is that we need to think of like everything, not just us. This is our list that we would give to the city. They're also weighing in on projects, but it's okay if the total is higher than what we project HURA to have between now and the end of the district. So it can be kind of this all-inclusive list. It doesn't mean that everything on the list is going to get done, if that makes sense. But it would be best if we could think of like everything, which I know is kind of hard, but that's the direction I was given. And so what I did is went through, well, stuff that I know about, like the Civic campus planning, the Crawford Park, what might be left to reimburse them for Crawford Park. I don't know that they're gonna ask for any more reimbursement, but that's how much is left in the agreement. The Owl Cafe demo, I threw, a number in there for that. And then I threw some numbers in there for this Civic campus and maybe improvements to McIntyre Park along with that, right? If we get excited about this plan and want to implement part of it, I just threw a number at that. And then the other intersection and sewer projects came out of the city's transportation and sewer master plans. and projects that are in there and that are within the either existing or expanded HURA boundary. And then I just kind of escalated those because those were done in like 2020. So that's how this is literally just me doing this table here. So you definitely need to weigh in.
There was a project at the end of the airport that we were gonna help fund a portion of, and Alan came in and talked to us about this.
It's the Ramsey Road one. We
Is
did.
that- is that already done?
We've already paid for
paid
it.
for it,
So we
okay.
already gave them the money. So my understanding was that this is kind of like moving forward.
Okay, gotcha.
If that's incorrect and Olivia needs me to tell her those other projects, because that one was one where the funding agency required kind of a prepayment, so it's not reimbursement like a lot of the other ones. And so we've already paid that. It was like 1.7 million.
It had to be awarded by whatever
Yeah.
date, yeah, okay,
Yep.
gotcha.
They had to have like all the money accounted for to
Okay.
go to bid. So
One question I have is, I thought our district expires in 2029. Why do we have a column for 2030, if that's true?
I think we stop, and Pete can jump in if I butcher this, but my understanding is we sunset. That's where we don't keep getting increment anymore after 2029, but because you pay your taxes in the rear, we're gonna get payment all the way through 2030.
Okay.
That's correct.
I can't think of anything else. That
Okay,
seems
I
like
mean,
a
I
pretty
just
good
went
list.
through
Or
all
at
the
least nothing we've
plans
heard
and-
of, yeah.
Try to assign, reasonable amounts to them, and still threw in some for public art. Not that I have anything on the horizon, but just because the Arts Commission seems to come to us. And then I have that property acquisition that I threw in there. That's a placeholder. I don't know of anything that either,
So,
but
if we approve this list, is there flexibility on amounts and years that we?
yeah, that my understanding is that there's flexibility on amounts and years, that they just kind of wanted me to try to put these in 2 years. But if there was a whole new project, I don't know what would happen. Pete has said that we don't really even, because our plan is older than this, so we don't have to stick with this list, but I don't know, I don't know what would happen if there was like a whole new project that wasn't identified.
Of course, that never happens.
Like every request we have had has been something that. So,
The specificity requirement for urban renewal plans didn't kick in until 2018. And so technically the HURA plan is exempted from the specificity requirements. But as part of this expansion plan amendment, the city and their consultants want to go ahead and include some more specificity into the plan amendment. And my opinion is that it doesn't hurt to do that, but you're in no way tied to especially the amounts that are listed in this list. And the original plan has very broad language when it comes to projects. So even if a project came up that wasn't included in this list, the agency probably could still do it just based on that general language in the original plan.
And then one other question as it relates to the whole process of expanding the district, assuming it does get done. We have all these steps to get there.
Mhm.
Any ideas? Is that going to take a year? Is it going to take you 2 years? In other words, how long will it typically, does anybody know? Because then we're getting closer to the end of the termination of our district.
I mean, I think they're trying to go as fast as they can. So I mean, their original goal was to be done by now. And so I think that this step is like one of the final steps.
Okay.
So we're just approving the list as it's
Yeah,
shown
and
now,
so I
knowing that
had
it could
sent
change in the
this
future.
to Olivia last week, but I said, let me at least allow the board to weigh in, because maybe you guys have some thoughts or some other ideas or something. But she said just let her know tomorrow if if anything changed. And I also sent this to the city staff so that they would be in the loop, and it wasn't all of a sudden just something that I developed that nobody else saw or knew about, so.
The intersections listed on here are the intersections that were our purpose for trying to expand the district, I think, for the most part. So
Right.
that's what we sent them to say, so.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the list as is shown in the packet. List and budget amounts.
Second?
Do we need a roll call on that, or just
You can do all in favor too.
all in favor?
Can we?
Do we need a roll call or not? Spending any money.
You can just do a voice vote on that, actually.
Okay, you're right.
Okay.
Ask, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes, thank you. Motion passes, thank you.
Okay. So this next thing was kind of what I was describing, that the city's had some change in staff. And so the majority of HURA's money is in this local government investment pool, and this is the form to change who can, I guess, transfer money in and out and that kind of a thing. And so we're taking Amanda off. She's the person that's no longer here. And then we haven't done this in the past, but we're having some communication challenges with the city because their staffing is so constrained, that I would like Lindsay and I to at least be able to pull the totals and transfer money if we need to and that kind of a thing, because it's been really challenging lately, not having access and not being able to do that. That's why you don't have any kind of a packet. So that was what I was going to recommend. Any discussion on that? And then Natasha at the city, who's the finance director, she's the other person that has access.
Does she currently has access?
Natasha does already. Yeah, so we're removing Amanda, who's no longer employed at the city.
So there'd be a total of 3
Yeah.
listed. Okay.
A total of 3 signatures, or any of the 3 can sign? Transfer.
I don't think that it's something that you sign for necessarily, but you can get into the account and you can, I mean, I've never had access, so I don't know exactly what it looks like, but I think it's all online, and I think you get a user ID so you can see what the total is, and you can move money from there into the bank CDA account. Like, that's what we keep, a certain amount in bank CDA, but if the amount of checks that we have is gonna drop it below that, then we transfer money. And then if the bank CDA, because our tax revenue and stuff from the county comes into there, if that gets to be too much, then we transfer it over into the LGIP so that it earns a higher interest rate. So it's just being able to move that back and forth.
Is it just one person that can do that? So was Amanda, she was able to just move
Yeah,
around
she
as
would,
needed?
we had a process, so she'd email me and she'd say, here's how much is in the account, and that this is what I'm, so there was some tracking. So with your approval, I'm gonna move 100,000 from bank CDA into the LGIP. Or when we had those gigantic sums of money to give to the city,
Right.
we had to transfer money from the LGIP into the bank CDA so that we could write them a huge check, because we don't put that much money on it normally in the bank CDA account.
With the checking accounts, it takes 2 signatures?
Of you
Or-
guys, so we still have no check signing authority or anything.
Right, okay, so it's just
Yeah.
ability to transfer money?
Right.
And that's never been a 2 authorized
I don't think it
Person
is.
to transfer.
signer? Okay. Does
Yeah,
that seem
if you want a
too
different
easy?
process in place to move that money around, I would be happy to do whatever you guys think makes sense.
And that's an authorization only to move it between two financial entities, right?
Right.
There's no other, there could not be a transfer anywhere else.
That's my understanding, but like I said, she and I have never been into the account, so I don't know if you have the ability of transferring it anywhere else. I don't think so.
None of us have a whole lot of information on that process, I guess. Mike, do you know anything about that by chance? Or Pete?
I have never had access to it, so I don't know.
My understanding from my other clients is that it only authorizes the individual to transfer money from the LGIP account to another account of the governmental entity. So it's not like they could transfer money from the LGIP account outside of the entity.
Right, okay,
Yeah, that's what I think, so.
okay.
Happy to put any safeguard in place that you guys would want. Because I mean, that's part of the reason why we have chosen to not have access up to this point, just to have this like extra layer and everything, but right now the communication is falling apart,
So
so.
then when you have three people, who should be responsible for that primarily?
I mean,
How does it work as backups? I mean, is this a communication issue then?
It's a communication issue. So I think it would still be Natasha, or I know that the city's trying to hire somebody to replace Amanda, and so maybe then it would be Amanda's replacement. So at this moment in time, there's just really no one handling the HURA component of it,
Right.
and that's the crux, I guess. So in a pinch, because we don't have access, we can't make it happen, so.
But do you have your pulse on the balances enough to know when you have to transfer or not?
Yeah, all I can go off of is, like, we had a packet last month, and our bills aren't very big this month, so I can see what our account had in it last month. Like right now, we don't have, there's an online account for Bank CDA too, that they would pull the balances, the city staff would pull the balances from. You know how we usually have in our packet, like, where's our funds, and it's like Bank CDA, savings, checking, and then the LGIP, like they would just log in and pull those, but we don't have access to that, so. If all the city staff goes away, then we're really at a disadvantage because we've never had access, so we don't have accounts and we don't have the ability to do it instead, if needed.
I think there are enough safeguards now, since you can only move from one account to the other.
Right.
And it sounds like you've already agreed between people that the money's needed. I mean, it's not like one person's acting completely
Right.
independently, you and Lindsay
Right.
would talk, or you and Natasha, so.
Right. To kind of have some sort of a trail on what's going on, yeah.
But I think for the smooth operation of HURA and the spending of money, we need to do it this way. To pay the bills and to know where we are with the bank accounts.
And hopefully the city staff will get back.
Yeah, that's the
back
hope,
to doing
right?
the job that we're paying to do.
Right, that's the hope.
I think it sounds
It'll be
to
short time.
the appropriate management step to do this. So I would move that we approve this agency contract information to allow both Lindsay and Melissa to follow the funds and to move them as necessary.
I'll second that.
I don't know if this is a roll call thing. Okay.
Yeah, this was-
Do Colin Meehan,
Yes.
Randy McIntyre,
Yes.
Michael Thayer,
Yes.
Matt Roeder,
Yes.
Joy Richards.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So there's not a ton to report that we haven't already talked about. Nothing different with OPAs. The Owl Cafe sign was taken down and delivered to the museum storage facility successfully. I have some pictures of it being taken down if anyone's interested. So that was successful, and then the demo contract, of course, was just on the agenda today, and also the city property planning, the HURA and city property planning, which we've called this Civic campus, you already talked about as well. And then we also already talked about the HURA expansion, but the thing is, I think that we might have a workshop either in February or March with the city's consultant to look at the plan amendment, to go through the plan amendment. So I don't know yet if they want to just do that at a meeting or if they want a separate workshop. So I'll have to keep you up to date on that. Then no update on 58 East Orchard. It's been pretty quiet. I have prepared the annual report. Pete has reviewed it. I have to make some edits based on his review. And then we plan to notice that for the February meeting. And then the audit is in process. The city and I are working on providing materials to the auditor to complete the fiscal year 24 audit, which is due to the state in June. And that is all I think I had. So our next meeting would be February 10th.
One question regarding the Al Café sign. I noticed a photograph in the paper, the neon lights were removed from the sign.
Yeah, they remove them and they pack them up separate.
So that they can be reused?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I didn't know if they were broken or.
No, that was why I liked when I talked to them about taking the sign down, is that they knew how to deal with the neon signs, and they built a rack to set the sign on, because it shouldn't be laid flat, so it sits up like this, and then all the neon comes off and is packed separately and is with the sign. So they sounded like they knew what they were doing. They did it on a windy day. I was calling them like, are you sure you want to take it down today? But I had one of our construction observation guys come and, just make sure it was going smoothly, and he was like, oh yeah, this is going fine. They know what they're doing. Okay.
With the city staff currently in the situation they are you able to get the information for the audit handled okay?
I'm gonna have to meet with them. No, not so far. If I'm being honest, no, they haven't done any of their stuff yet. So Rhonda and I are trying to get a meeting with the city administrator and see what we can do
Just curious.
from an accounting side, the accounting type services that they provide for HURA. Yeah.
Well, does anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you. So it's February 10th.
All right. Another quick one.
All right.